we go.
Born with the moon in Cancer, choose her a name she will answer to. Call her green, and the winters cannot fade her. Call her green for the children who made her little green. Be a gypsy dancer. He went to California, hearing that everything's warmer here. So you write him a letter and say her eyes are blue. He sends you a poem and she's lost to you, little green. He's a non-conformer, just a little green, like the color when the spring is born. There'll be crocuses to bring to school tomorrow, just a little green, like the lights when the northern lights perform. There'll be icicles and birthday clothes, and sometimes there'll be child with a child pretending, weary of lies you are sending home. So you sign all the papers in the family name. You're sad and you're sorry, but you're not ashamed, little green. Have a happy ending, just a little green, like the color when the spring is born. There'll be crocuses to bring to school tomorrow, just a little green, like the nights when the northern lights perform. There'll be icicles and birthday clothes, and sometimes there'll be sorrows. There'll be icicles and birthday clothes, and sometimes there'll be
Wow, beautiful.
Thank you.
Today, my guest is the vocalist Aubrey Johnson. So happy to have you here. It's really great.
So glad to be here.
Yeah, just closing out my things. Let's see, what do I have here? Oh, hold on. Close that, and I am, what am I doing? I want to, I have to find, oh, chat. Okay. Thank you. Okay. You know, I've only been doing, almost 600 of these, but
That's crazy.
I forget. When I was doing it, 6 days a week, I didn't forget anything, but
Sure.
now my poor little brain is so overloaded with stuff.
Totally get it.
So Aubrey is where are you now?
I live in Brooklyn. I'm
Oh,
in
okay.
Brooklyn. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's about to embark on a tour which will include Los Angeles. Um, she's coming to play at our beloved G Spot, which on August 10th, Saturday.
That's right.
So you can go or come wherever you are. Go to hear her at the G Spot. Um, so let's see now. First of all, I'm just struck by your beautiful voice and your singing. It's very transparent and beautiful.
Thank you
So,
so much.
yeah, very, very beautiful, I have to say.
Thank you.
I
That means a
appreciate
lot from you.
it. Thanks. Yeah, and reading what you've been doing is, or your bio is, it's impressive. You've done a lot.
Thank you. I've
Um,
had a lot of good opportunities.
yeah.
Hmm.
And first, I'd actually like to find out your, let's see. I mean, we'll find out more and more as we go through these few hours, but I would like to, it strikes me that somebody who has done all those things and, hooked up with all those situations and people and performed is not only quality creator, because otherwise you wouldn't be, you know, you wouldn't really be getting those things, but also there has to be a point of view that you have
Hmm.
of how you move through the world, how you are moving ahead. You even if I've found that some people don't really have, um, they don't have, let's see, how do I put it? They don't have like a decision about that. Like I'm going to da 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 da. Most
Hmm.
people who have gotten good things in their careers and their lives kind of, I think for the most part, in these interviews, people have said that they're at the right place at the right time.
Mm.
And they just keep putting themselves out
Right.
into life, doing what they
Hmm.
want to do, and it just happens. So I'd like to hear about that. What do you
Sure.
think about that?
Yeah. That's interesting to hear that you most people you talk to have had that kind of experience. And I think I feel the same. Um, from the time I was very young, I just wanted to sing, and even like going into college, it wasn't even fully clear what I wanted to do. I just knew that no matter what, I want to be singing. I want to be on stage. I want to be doing things like that. And so I think I can relate a lot to what you said. Some people really do have an exact plan and they execute it and they work on it from a really young age. Um, and mine was always just to be a great vocalist, to be a great musician, to work really hard in my studies and listen a lot and try to collaborate as much as possible. And I guess, now that I'm starting to talk, I think one of my driving forces has always been to be musically competent, like to not just be a singer. Not that being a singer is not enough, but not to be a singer that doesn't know what's going on. So I've been playing piano since I was like 7 years old. So that's always been a big part of what I do and how I relate to music. But beyond that, yeah, I feel the same, that I was always just like putting myself out there and taking the advice of people that were trustworthy, like a big example in my life. Actually, there's a few. One is I had a great teacher in high school named Christine Salerno. She's a wonderful piano player and singer. And she opened so many doors for me. I'm from Green Bay, Wisconsin, by the way. And I didn't know where I was gonna go. I was like very small, from a small town, and didn't have a huge concept of the world or anything like that. So I just, I was just open.
that's really what it was. I wasn't scared to leave. And so Chris Salerno told me to go to Western Michigan University. And so I took her advice. I mean, I checked out places, but I took her advice, and it ended up being an incredible experience. And
Was that the, was this, did I read that it was Steve Zagri?
yes, yeah,
You were in Gold Company.
I was, yeah.
Okay, now there you go. That's like, it's the top of the top.
It really is.
It really is,
It's
yeah.
still among the hardest things I've ever done is being in that group.
I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved that program also because I had to study classical voice for 2 years before I could even be a jazz major, which I was open to. I didn't mind, it wasn't what I wanted to do like forever, but and now it's like a huge part of my technique.
Yeah.
Not that I think that's the only way to get good technique, but that is how I learned
Yeah.
about it. And then let's see, I'm ending up telling you my life story. And at Western
How it
Michigan,
is.
I met Fred Hirsch, and that's another pivotal person and pivotal moment in my life. Was he came every semester, and so we got to build something of a relationship. He did lessons with all the singers, which was so
Oh,
awesome
wow.
because he works a lot with vocalists.
Yeah.
And when it came time to graduate or to think about the next steps, he recommended that I go to New England Conservatory in Boston, which I didn't really know anything about, but I knew that I wanted to go to a program where there was a great vocal mentor, that I could really study under. And so I found that in Dominique Eade at NEC. And I feel so lucky, like, because that going to Boston, like, paved the way for, like, everything in my life and for coming to New York City. Because I think it would be hard to move from, like, Wisconsin to New York as a young
Yeah.
person. I was way too naive and inexperienced, and it wouldn't have worked very well. So it was a really
Yeah.
good path that I took. And I have those couple people, of course, many more, to thank for that good advice. But I really did figure out who to listen to. I think that was part of it, advice wise,
Yeah.
And so then being in Boston, I loved being on the East Coast, a totally different point of view culturally and musically. And the school there is very open-minded and experimental. And it was just like a perfect complement to the foundation I got at Western Michigan. So yeah, that was, my path. My plan was not to come to New York City. I didn't have a plan, but that's why I ended up here. Because after Boston, kind of people just filter to New York. It just kind of happens.
Yeah.
And all my friends are going, and I wanted something bigger too. I love the Boston scene. It's amazing, and I was playing
Yeah.
with lots of incredible people, but I just wanted a bigger scene. So that's how I ended up here. And then yeah, everything else, like really just what you said, like just putting yourself out there, and also being open, because I've always been the kind of person that wants to challenge the limits of what the voice can do.
Uh-huh.
And so I would like make it a point of telling people like, I can sing your music and it doesn't matter how hard it is, and what else, just being, open to functioning in different ways as a vocalist has really paved the way for a lot of things I've done, I think. A lot of
Yeah.
people I've worked with. Yeah.
That's cool too. Yeah.
Hmm.
I always talk about how when I was growing up, um, well, when I was, let's say, when I was in my 20s, when I moved to LA from Boston, by the way.
Oh yeah, you went to Berkeley. I remember
Yeah.
that.
That it was a different time period. There was a lot of work. There was like, you did everything from weddings to dance gigs to jazz gigs. I mean, there was not one day that you didn't work. And sometimes you'd do 2 or 3 gigs in one day.
Oh.
And, we were trading gigs, and so I always, kind of reflect on that because that was a great training ground, just like what you said, you do all different styles and then you can, or then it comes out through you or, develops into something. And nowadays, I mean, you just don't see that, you don't see that kind of work happening. You have to be very, active-minded to create a lot of work like that.
Yes,
And I mean, even
absolutely.
just to create jazz gigs, but still, you know.
Yes. Very
So,
difficult.
yeah, it's just, and also we made a living doing that, which that's the other thing now, which, obviously we were just talking about, you know, amounts of audiences and stuff,
Yeah,
it's
not
just, it's
easy.
it's a really interesting time period for musicians,
I know.
uh, to make money. Yeah, this week I've been trying not to be stressed, but working on putting out my next record and a single. And last night, the thing that kept me awake was thinking about ISRC codes. Are you,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And, I have this little weird thing that's going on. I have anyway, I won't go into it because it's too stupid. But I have to call somebody who knows. I guess CD Baby or somebody, and you know, can somebody explain the reality of this to me? If I do this, is that like bad for this? Like,
Yeah.
or can I do this and do this?
Yeah.
And it's just, wow, there's so many details and you don't want to screw up. And, uh, you know, I want to do things in a calm way. I don't
Mm.
like being stressed and I don't
Hmm.
like drama.
Mm. Same.
Yeah, yeah.
Older, I guess. Yes, I'm trying to.
Yeah, right, right. But I think also with some of the things that you've been doing, and then we can get into kind of talking about them, but some of the things you're doing, I feel uh, the person has to be in the moment, let's say, in the present moment,
Hmm.
really there and not rushing through job after job, to do a quality job that's joyful and
Mm.
makes the other people who you're collaborating with feel good about you. You have to really be present, right? And
Yes.
not rush.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. Um, yeah, I feel that way. I feel lucky that I have, I can choose the projects I want to be part of, and because I've chosen to teach,
Yeah.
as my main bread and butter, which I actually started teaching at Berkeley. Was my first college teaching job back in a long time ago,
Yeah.
and that was an amazing experience, and that paved the way for me getting more college teaching work in New York, which is great because everyone says they have like an age they resonate best with, teaching wise, and for
Yeah.
me it's definitely college students, like no question. And so if I were teaching on a regular basis younger than that, I don't think it would make me very happy. Like not, it's just not where not where I want to be. So I feel lucky that I get to do that. And I teach at Montclair State University and Queens College. And then this fall I'm going to start doing a class at New School, which I'm excited about. Um,
Oh, cool.
yeah. But because of that, I'm not hustling for like money gigs, for like restaurant gigs and functions. Um, and sometimes I wish I were singing more because when you're not in that circuit, you're not getting those calls as much. But I do like that, like whenever I sing, it's because I really want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like something I wanted to do or something I put together.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's always like a trade-off, and then the grass is greener. Like I have friends that I like respect so much that are out there gigging
Yeah.
like several times a week, like singers, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Just I've gone the other direction, I guess, with like original music and other people's
Yeah.
projects. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Similar to me, actually. I mean, it took me a long time to kind of come to that. But then I just looked around and I started realizing that's what I was doing.
mhm.
I was creating gigs that were really fun and
Yeah.
artistic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was singing less, but consistently, but less, a
Hmm.
lot less. And then there are those moments, I just came back from Japan and Korea for a month, and that
Oh,
was
I did
great.
not
And
know. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I went to Japan many, many times, and then Korea, that was my second time. But I love being there. You're not distracted by normal life, and
Hmm.
this particular time, I found that I had no judgment going on, which is, I'm not sure why that happened. I was so open, and
Mm,
maybe because I haven't been there in 5 years because of the pandemic,
yeah.
but it was great. I was soaking in everything that was happening, all the kindness and the beauty and
Mm,
just the students are beautiful. Wow, I love teaching
mm,
them. And a lot of times acknowledgement is what the students actually need.
mm,
And they have a love-hate relationship with acknowledgement um, because of the history of, you know, um, just, well, it's mostly women,
mm-hmm.
right? Because women have a history of being suppressed there. And
Yes.
so, when you acknowledge somebody, they they kind of cringe, and
Mm,
because they're punishing themselves for that.
right. It's
But
culturally uncomfortable.
yeah, but they love it too, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like dying for it.
Oh.
It's really it's deep. It's really deep.
Were you teaching in Tokyo or
I
Kyoto?
go to Hiroshima, Osaka, and Tokyo,
Okay.
and then I went to Seoul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I've been going there since like uh, 1980. So I have a
Wow.
lot of people there, and I kind of know
Sure.
my way around and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, so you have a long teaching line, and I'm just kind of taking a peek at your bio too here because there's so much. Well, let me ask you this. I'm curious. Was your family musical, or did you just pop out dying for music?
No, my family's very musical. My mom is a really good singer and piano player.
Ah,
She doesn't do that at all anymore, but she used to be the music director at the church that I grew up in.
hmm,
So I know that she was like encouraging me to sing from a young age. And she could see that I like was good at singing when I was really young, so she
yeah.
like helped me keep doing it. And my dad has a great appreciation for music. He like is a real music lover. Like he has a huge collection. He's always listening. My brother too is the same. And then my mom's brother is Lyle Mays, the late.
You're
Um,
kidding.
oh yeah, yeah.
Wow. No, I had
That's
no
my
idea.
uncle. Hmm.
How, wow, that is trippy.
Yeah, that's a big part of my musical life too, is that
Yeah.
we were very close, and he passed away 4 years ago. I can't believe that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, he was my mentor and my friend. We talked like at least once a week and exchanged
Oh.
tons of emails, and that was totally him. Like, when I got to school for jazz voice and he found out about it, he like gave me a call and was like, "What, you're gonna be a jazz musician? Like, what's going on? We have to talk." So yeah, so from there we were always close, and yeah, I put out his last. I self-released his last album, which was a single 13
Oh.
minute track, which I sang on.
Oh, I got to hear that.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, let
It,
me let me write that down. What is it under his name or your name or?
it's under his name, and it's called Eberhard, like after the bass player Eberhard Weber. And yeah,
Oh.
and it also won a Grammy. I ran the Grammy campaign and did all that stuff. And
Oh, you can tell that I'm so not like there.
oh no, I mean, I think my bio, I probably should say that more clearly in the bio. I get weird about, how do I talk about this family member thing that's also part of my musical
Yeah.
life. But yeah, it's a huge moment in my life. It still
Yeah,
is.
I was just looking. I thought I saw in your bio, but
I guess I gotta rewrite it.
I thought I saw somewhere Lyle Mays. I saw
Yeah.
Pat Metheny.
Mhm.
You released your debut album, Unraveled.
Mhm.
Um,
That was produced by Steve Rodby, the bass player from Panethony Group, who was
okay,
Lyle's best friend. Yeah.
okay. I'm just, by the way, I just want to say Lyle Mays, you know, I was working at well, now it's called, what is it called? MI, Musicians Institute,
Oh,
which
yeah.
back then it was GIT, Guitar Institute.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, so I was there at the beginning of it, you know, and Lyle came, and I think he played all alone. Did he play all alone? He might have played with Joe Diorio because Joe Diorio, great guitar player, he taught there,
Mm-hmm.
um, insanely great. But anyway, and I looked at the students, and they looked like they just didn't weren't really appreciating it, you know. And I was so blown away. I was like, oh my God, he was
Sure.
such a genius. Great, amazing player.
Totally. In
Yeah.
every sense of the word. Yes.
Wow.
Incredible
And
composer, arranger. Yeah.
yeah,
And also just a genius in general. Some people just like it's all music, but for him, he was really just interested in everything. And
yeah.
yeah, he's a very special
Wow.
person. Hmm.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
Um, and then you know, going down your bio here because it's right here. Um, uh, uh, and then you released your next album, I guess, a duo album with Randy Ingram.
Hmm.
And that's on Sunnyside.
Yep.
And yeah, we should listen to a little bit of that because I
Okay.
saw that. And then you're teaching and Gold Company. And you were winning awards, you know, Downbeat and yeah. And then Ron DeSalvio, that sounds familiar. Why do I know his name?
He's a Michigan-based pianist. Yeah.
Um,
That
I
was,
have some dear friends in Michigan, so
oh, okay. That makes
Ron,
sense.
Ron Newman and Sonny Wilkinson.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sonny's a good friend of mine too. I just saw her
Yeah,
last year. We had lunch. I love her.
I do too.
Yeah.
She's like my sister.
Oh,
Oh,
really? That's
yeah,
so cool. Yeah,
yeah.
I got to do a few lessons with her when I was there, for
She's a great
college.
teacher.
She had just left Western. I was so sad, but
Oh,
I drove over to Lansing and took some lessons with her back in the day. But yeah, with Ron, that's notable because I got to sing with Jimmy Cobb. I got to record with him and perform with him a couple times, which was very cool while I was still in college.
so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now, let's see. So, you got the Gunther Schuller Medal. That's pretty cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
I went to his house once because did I go with Bevan Manson? I don't know. I can't remember who I went with. Pretty cool house he lives in.
Yeah.
Like kind of right, huge house. And
I've never
did
been.
you ever go? Yeah,
No.
it was really big house, kind of a Newton Center area,
Mm.
and music instruments everywhere, and just big, open, kind of crazy space with music, people playing everywhere. Was really an interesting experience.
Wow.
Anyway, you won the Gunther Schuller Award, third Downbeat Award. Amazing.
Yeah, that's all as a student stuff. But
Now it does talk about Lyle, but it doesn't say you're related.
yeah.
You know, performs wordlessly and playing auxiliary keyboards, right?
Hmm. Yeah, we got to perform in a couple of festivals together.
That's
That'll be
nice.
a life highlight for sure, both of those.
And you were one of the voices on Vocabularies.
That's right. Yeah.
What a great record.
I know. Steve Zagri helped introduce me to Roger Treese, who was the arranger for that whole thing.
Yeah, Roger, he's really good.
Hmm.
And then um,
Katie
Katie was on
Campbell?
that, right? Yeah, Katie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she went to Western with me, and
Yeah, and she was in Gold Company.
that's right. She was
Yeah,
a huge inspiration to me when I got there. It was her last year, and I was like, oh my God, that's how a soprano can sound. I want to be like her.
totally. I
Yeah.
saw them at some convention, you know, it was not the Gen convention, but the one before that.
IAJE.
Yeah, yeah. And I was blown away. totally blown away. I think I was with Sunny actually, and, and I had never heard a vocal group sound like that, like the Gold Company.
It's pretty crazy.
Very impressed. Steve Zagri was an amazing, active guy, just fantastic guy. But vocabularies, oh, that's such a nice record.
I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, really beautiful. That's somebody I should interview is Roger Treese. I don't
Yes, you
think
should.
I've interviewed him. Anyway, then you let's see, you've performed all over New York at all the big places, and the small places like Smalls, and you've also. I saw that you were going to write under the mentorship of Billy Childs, but you also performed with him or recorded with him?
Yes, yeah, I sang one track on his album called "Twilight Is Upon Us." It's
Oh,
like it's really crazy. I was doubling Steve Wilson on soprano, and just like doing all this crazy wordless vocal stuff. Yeah,
I'm going to listen to that, and maybe
yeah,
we
that's
will. We will.
yeah, that would
Um,
be a good one to listen to.
yeah. Um, wow, that's cool. Billy's a friend of mine, old friend. When he came here when he was 21, he was working with my brother-in-law, who was a really great drummer, Joey Heredia and Diane Reeves. They were all 21,
Right.
and yeah, they were kids, but they were good, but they were kids. It's really fun. Let's see. Let me see if I can share and go to the Billy Childs. um,
Twilight is upon us. Yeah, I don't know if my name will be there.
okay,
Probably be under his name, but maybe you can try it.
we'll put Billy Child's name in there too. Right there, right? Or here?
It's the second one, yeah. Yeah.
gonna get out of here. And sometimes YouTube like takes me down because I'm playing somebody's music. Even if it was your record, they might take me down, because
Sure.
I'm
They
like,
can't prove.
could you just give me a form to sign and then it'll all be fine? But they, of course, that's too smart.
Sure.
Have you ever heard, you probably do not know these people. Well, Vardan of Sepian.
Yeah. I
You
played
do?
with him when I was there
Oh,
in March. Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Where'd you play?
Tavern on Brand is like his
Yeah,
monthly
I know that
or weekly
place.
series. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I know him. Well, actually, I heard him play in Boston at the Regatta Bar back when I was in school, and he had a singer, Margaret Grebowitz, with him at that time, and I was very inspired, and I always wanted to meet and play with him, and then I finally got to in March.
Oh, he's a gorgeous player. He has this Brazilian singer he works with.
Tatiana Parra.
Is that her name? Let me see. I have to
Yeah,
go
it is.
look. She does wordless stuff, right?
Yeah, that's her. Sorry
Yeah,
for the siren if you can hear it.
I can actually. But anyway, Vardan yeah, I have to remember. She used to come here and work with him. That's why I forget her name. But yeah, he's beautiful. I think I recorded it in Korea. There's this beautiful project of his called what is it called? Well, the song is called Dreaming Paris. And Tatiana Para. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I thought you said Katiana.
Tatiana.
Yeah. So yeah, this one of my favorite records of his is Voce. Check it out, it's really beautiful. And there's this song. Well, I'll just play it a little bit for you.
Okay.
Oops. Yeah, anyway. Really beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I put words to it and
Oh, you
it
did?
just, yeah, there's a number of songs that I've done like that. You know, they tend to be somewhat like that, modern, somehow jazz, I mean, this one's jazz, but it's a little classical, but I'm not really a classical singer, but I wrote lyrics for a Pat Metheny song, and he gave me publishing rights. It's called In Her Family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he loved the words, and
Oh, I would like to hear them.
yeah, I'll send you them. I'm writing myself a note because and yeah, and other musicians around here, good writers and arrangers. Vince Mendoza,
Yes. Oh my
the
God.
same. Yeah, there was this really beautiful song, and I forget the real title of it, but anyway, I've recorded that, and he gave me the publishing rights for that, and so yeah, I'm kind of an abstract writer, I think, a little bit in my lyrics. And but that's okay, whatever, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the point, right?
For me, it is. But
Yeah.
sometimes I feel, you know, like I should apologize for my lyrics. You know, it's just
No, what do you mean?
um.
Sometimes I feel
Anyway,
like I get too literal with my lyrics. I struggle to like, yeah, you don't have to like say exactly what you mean. You know?
no, it's interesting. Lyric writing is, yeah, it's very. I mean, I took one class with a friend of mine who's a very good lyric writing teacher, and he did give me an idea which had to do with rhyming. It's almost like motifs. It's like if you have a word that has three syllables, and you can actually kind of rhyme with the three syllables, you know,
Mm,
and it feels similar.
mhm.
So I used that almost immediately, and then of course I forgot totally about it after that.
Well, now you remembered again.
But and recently I wrote I also recorded this one in Korea. So last year I went to Brazil camp.
Oh, I've been to Brazil camp.
You have? Isn't it
Yep,
great?
I went in 2010. Yeah, I loved it.
Wow, 2010.
It's a while ago.
Wow. Yeah, Ginga was there, you know,
Yeah,
when
he
I
was
went.
there.
It was last year. So I just absolutely hung out with him, and he wrote a song during that stay. It was so beautiful, and he taught it to us. And I wrote English words for it, and he okayed them.
Wow.
So yeah, but that was interesting because you know how Brazilian lyrics are kind of they're not direct really. You know, they're
Yeah,
very
very matter of fact.
image
Hmm.
related, and it makes me laugh because Brazilian songs are like about the high and the absolute lows of love in one song, right?
Hmm.
I'm going
Yes.
to kill myself because I love you like the moon, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And so I my English lyrics kind of came out like Brazilian thinking, you know. It's really
Hmm.
interesting. That was the first time
Awesome.
that ever happened.
I would love
Yeah.
to hear all of
Yeah.
these. Send them.
Okay, choro. I'm sending you the choro too. Anyway, enough about me. But yeah, so let me see. Turn off my ding ding phone. Okay, so this paragraph is kind of full of stuff. You recorded and performed with Billy Childs, Janis Siegel, Fred Hirsch. I don't know Sarah Serpa. That
Oh,
sounds
you
familiar.
should check her out. Sara Surfa. She's a Portuguese singer. We met at
Oh.
NEC and we've been collaborators for like the last 10 years and usually her
Ah,
projects. Yeah, she's an amazing composer and singer.
I'm writing her down.
Yeah, you're gonna love her.
Okay. And John Zorn, Joe Phillips. That's another name I don't know.
Yeah, he's
Um,
a like modern contemporary classical composer, but with lots of jazz and pop and rock influences.
hmm,
We've done several projects together.
okay, I'm gonna check that out too.
Yeah.
And then Andrew Rathburn. That name sounds familiar, but I don't know him.
Rathbun. Yeah, he used to live in New York. Now he's
Rathbun.
in Michigan. Yeah, saxophone player, composer. He did a big band project that I sang on, and Luciana Souza also sang on it.
Oh,
That
Andrew
one's
Rath.
called Two Islands is the name of that record.
Oh, cool. And Rose and the Nightingale.
Oh, I forgot that was in there. Yeah, yeah, I did some work with them. That's you probably know Lila Bialy.
Yeah.
I was subbing for her with that band a few times,
Oh,
playing piano, not as well as she does, but playing piano and singing. And it's also Sarah Caswell is in it. You probably know Sarah
yes, I
Caswell.
know Sarah. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jody Redditch, um, cellist, married to Alan Ferber,
Yeah.
and who I guess you probably know because you probably know
Yep.
Mark Ferber.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
and then Leela Sear, great singer and trumpet player. So anyway, they have a beautiful
Oh,
chamber ensemble, chamber jazz pop that I worked with a bit. So
That sounds nice too.
Yeah.
Um, and your own band names all there, and you've also been a side person on Arturo O'Farrell's. I saw him when he was young, and I was so
Hmm.
impressed with him. So, see again, Grammy Award-winning album. Was that a while back? For
That
a
was
few
in
questions.
that was 2020.
Okay, but
Hmm.
not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah, and yeah, and you're doing the Chamber Music America Performance Plus grant, which is pretty awesome, to
Hmm.
compose and record a new album under the mentorship of Billy Childs.
Yeah,
So
that's in
that's
progress.
really cool.
It's very cool.
So what you write and then you send it to him and you guys talk about it, or how does the mentorship work actually?
So the grant is to meet with Billy a total of 6 times over the course
Oh,
of 2 years. Well, it's a year and a half, but for me it's going to be 2 years because it's hard since he's in LA, as
yeah.
you know. But yeah, ideally it's supposed to be him working with you in the band. And the grant also pays the band to be there too, and
Oh,
it's really nice. Yeah, so we met with him last year, and then I was out in LA in March, and I got to go to his house and just like hang with him for like half the day. And I brought some stuff to show him, and then he showed me things he was working on and talked about process. And then our next meeting is probably going to be pretty soon. Show him I'm writing stuff right now, like I was telling you. Hopefully to be done by the tour, which is in like 2 weeks.
do you think he can come to your gig?
um, I should. I totally didn't even think about telling him that I should have him come. Yeah, duh.
Yeah, you should definitely have him come. Yeah, if he's
I'm
in
gonna be
town.
in, yeah, I'm gonna be in LA for less than 24 hours, so I'm like not thinking about like seeing anyone, but you're right, I should tell him. But yeah, so that'll be our third time, and then we'll have three more. So I think he'll be back in New York in the fall and work with the band then. But yeah, it's been really cool. It's makes me feel like I'm back in school in a way,
Yeah,
getting to
yeah,
have that kind of input again, which I miss. And that's actually kind of the relationship I had with my uncle Lyle. And, I've missed having him to bounce things off of,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Um, so it's nice. And
What is the album gonna be? What is it gonna be?
it's going to be the same instrumentation as my own first album, which is piano, bass, drums, violin, and bass clarinet, who also doubles on alto sax and voice. And yeah, I felt like I wasn't done writing for that instrumentation. I really like the textures. I like to have like the arco and the pits options for violin. And the violin player I work with, Tomoko Omura, actually has a 5-string violin, so she has a bigger, like a lower range. It's fun to write for, and she also uses a loop pedal
Oh, yeah.
on her own. So if I wanted her to do that, we don't really do that, but I have, yeah, she has like an octavizer thing too. And then the sax player, alto sax player, plays bass clarinet and also plays flute, if I want him to.
Nice.
And yeah, so I like that. And then I sing words and then do wordless vocal things as well. So I think this record is going to be kind of similar to the last one in that it's going to be a combination of my compositions and then my arrangements of like Brazilian and jazz and pop
Yeah,
songs.
yeah. So you're really into Brazilian too.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I sing a lot in Portuguese. It's like a
Oh,
very comfortable language for me.
cool.
Been taking Portuguese lessons for a while, but I'm still not very good. But I
It's a
do love
hard
singing.
language.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's very
to
hard.
really get a hold of. Yeah, my
Hmm.
girlfriend is, her daughter is married a Brazilian guy and she's living in
Mm,
Brazil. And so my girlfriend wanted to, and she has some other languages under her belt,
yeah.
but she said it's hard. What did she say the other day? She said, you have to learn all the conjugations, but that's not really how people speak. But the
Yeah.
teacher wants you to learn the basics,
Hmm. Yeah, there's so
and
many different
then,
conjugations. It's insane.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
Very hard.
Yeah. Wow. Well, let's hear some more music because you have so much interesting things going on here. see. Did I?
Maybe something off of my record. If you want to hear something in Portuguese, I recorded an arrangement of Gingy in 5.
In
On my
5.
Yeah.
I'm just going backwards here. So, but I also at some point I want to hear. Well, I mean, I want to hear you with Randy.
Oh, sure. We can do that first if you want.
Okay, cool. God, he sounds great.
Once you said you loved me, place no one above me. Prayed for me to make that vow. What dumb thing did I say? So busy being blasé. How I wish you'd ask me now. I was vain and blind then, prone to be unkind then. Wish they turned back time somehow. Then I was audacious. I ignored what was precious. How I wish you'd ask me now. I thought then that I'd always be so footloose and fancy free. How could I have been so blind? Now once, what I once made light of turned out to be true love. Once my ego willed me, flattered me and fooled me. More times than the laws allow. You asked me could I care, but my attention was elsewhere. How I wish you'd ask me now. I thought then that I'd always be so footloose and fancy free.
fun. Monk. Gotta love Monk.
Yeah, I like that lyric a lot too.
Yeah, the lyric is great.
I don't
Yeah.
love all the lyrics of Monk tunes, but that one's good.
I actually did a record last year, and I did Baya and Evidence, and I wrote lyrics really fast for both of them.
Really?
And yeah, and they were pretty, especially Evidence, really cool lyrics, I think.
You gotta send me that too. I gotta hear all of these.
Evidence and Baya. See, I'm writing my notes. Okay. So, yeah, that was really nice. Oh, hi, Taylor. Taylor Hatch, he's a really good guitarist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's been in North Texas for a while. I remember watching Aubrey give a special tribute to her uncle at the Grammys a few years ago. It was so sentimental and very sweet
Oh,
once Lyle was announced. Beautiful composition, especially. And he's asking, oh, he said also being a North Texas alum, Lab 75 is still one of my favorite records that Lyle contributed towards.
oh yeah. Lyle arranged the whole record, wrote and arranged everything, and led the band and produced it. Yeah, I
Cool.
like to put that out there because yeah, he did everything as a student. Kind of insane. And
Yeah.
that was nominated for a Grammy. That was the first college
Oh,
album nominated for a Grammy.
wow.
Pretty crazy.
Genius. Yeah,
Yeah,
genius.
yeah.
Taylor would like to know, in your recent practice, what has been the most creatively insightful? What has been the most creatively, what has been, I'm not sure how you worded that, Taylor, but anyway, creatively insightful to you in your practice as an artist and a singer. What has been captivating your process?
Let's see. Well, right now I'm in process of trying to write new music, and it's hard to say. I don't know if this is relevant or interesting at all, but one of my favorite singers and composers is Becca Stevens.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
And yeah, I don't know, everything. She's a genius too. I don't say that lightly. But yeah, I've been thinking about like when I'm writing something, I sing all the time and play piano while I'm writing, but I actually, if I'm not sure if I like it or if it's like good enough or something, I like conjure Becca's voice singing it instead. And I see
Oh,
like, oh, what would she like? How would she sing this? And what would she do with this phrase? And then it's actually led me in some different directions at some point. And I've never tried that before, and it's been really interesting and helpful. And then sometimes I think like, oh, she wouldn't sing that. She just wouldn't sing that way. She wouldn't write that. But that's okay. That's me. That's cool. But I like it's interesting to do that. And then my friend Michael Mayo, you probably know Michael Mayo
yeah, I just saw
too.
him singing last week.
Yeah, I know he left New York and he lives in LA. We miss him so much. But yeah, sometimes I also think of his voice too, because I love his voice and I love his lyric writing, and same with Becca. I love her lyric writing. So that's just been an interesting way to get outside my own head and
Yeah.
outside my own literal singing voice, you know. So that's been inspiring, and then of course I just listen to them too and check out their stuff, and yeah, that I don't know, that's kind of been the thing mainly right now. And then just trying to figure out my process and how I can best be in process. I've been doing a lot. I have a practice space that I rent that's close by that a lot of my friends rent as well.
Huh.
And so I alternate like between being at home where I have Lyle's grand piano in my home,
Oh, wow.
which is insane. I still can't believe it. I've had it here for like 6 months. So I play that, but I don't want to drive my neighbors nuts all day. So I leave and go over to the space. And I find like a change of environment can really help me. And then getting out and going for a walk and just like playing things in my head. And oftentimes I'll have like, just a moment of inspiration, like away from the piano and stuff, which is good because I can get really stuck to just being in front of the piano and playing things over and over. And one of my friends, Omar Thomas, he's an incredible composer and big band writer that you should all check out. We met recently and talked about stuff like this, and he said, he was like, chaining yourself to the piano is not it. That was like really good for me to hear because I kind of felt like, oh, I'll just like sit here and like I'll push through and put in the hours. And he's like, you got to get out. You got to live an inspiring life. You got to, see your friends, go to a museum, like see films, listen to different music. And so, yeah,
So
that's all
true.
the stuff I've been thinking about lately.
So true. Last week, I spoke to, you may know her, Jihei Lee.
Yes, I do.
That was a great
Berkeley.
conversation. I really
Mhm.
enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
I love her writing.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, I've heard big band music since I was born, because my dad was a sax player and he was
Hmm.
he was led a big band and
Yeah.
had records like that. And over the years, especially in LA, there have been some brilliant writers and arrangers. But for the most part, I would just hear the same thing, kind of
Hmm.
over and over again.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And but
Formulaic.
yeah, yeah, when I listen to Jihei, I don't hear that. I hear real beauty in her
Yeah.
compositions. She said she generally likes to go for a walk first
Mm.
and
Okay.
think about a concept, like an emotional kind of concept
Yeah.
or a story. And
Hmm.
then she comes back to the piano and then
Hmm.
she might have an idea and but she
Yeah.
writes pretty fast too. I mean, she
Really?
can
So
actually,
jealous.
yeah, she can come up with a whole arrangement and everything in a day.
What?
Yeah. She's kind
Makes
of
me
brilliant
mad.
too. She's had a really interesting life coming up. She was just a singer-songwriter in Korea. She had no classical training, nothing. Didn't really play piano.
Wow.
And then I can't remember why, but she went to Berkeley. I guess just to expand.
Yeah. She was
And the
actually
first
there while I was teaching there, like the very beginning of me teaching there. I remember her there.
Yeah, in the first year, at the end of the first year, she won the Duke Ellington Award
Oh, I
for,
didn't know that.
yeah, in the
Crazy.
first year.
Crazy.
I mean, come on. And
Hmm.
she said she didn't even think about jazz until she heard a big band rehearsing and she was like, what's that? And she went in for 2 hours and listened to their rehearsal. And
That's
obviously that changed her life.
crazy.
Isn't that
That's
crazy?
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's really
incredible.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a very good point of view. Very nice to talk with her.
Mm.
And let's not denigrate chaining oneself to the piano, haha, by Jeremy Siskind.
Ah, my friend Jeremy. Okay, Jeremy, I know. Well, I've done a lot of that, so
He did wink. So
that's
yeah.
hilarious. That's very Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy. Miss you.
um, okay, Taylor always has some great questions, and I love this one. What was one epiphany that you had in your development as an artist?
Oh,
And
so many. I like can't even. I'm like,
oh, you can just tell me one.
yeah, no, I know. I was trying to think of a good one. Um, well, let's see. I don't know. How could I like say anything succinctly?
I mean, you already told me several people who were like your mentors and made a
Yeah.
big difference.
No,
So,
I
and
think
Taylor, you weren't really here for that, but there was Lyle Mays and uh, I
Fred
guess Steve
Hirsch.
Zagri,
Yeah,
Fred
Steve Zagri.
Hirsch. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think like getting rid of or trying to get rid of ego has been really the most important thing. And then yeah, that's huge. And then just like remembering that you're writing music for everyone and not just for fellow musicians, and you're not just going to write so that people are impressed by what you do, that you want to actually write something that that could appeal to lots of different people and touch them. I mean, that should be obvious, but I think as jazz musicians, they can really get inside the idea of like wanting to be very complex and like very different, just so that not just, but so we can impress our fellow musicians. But I
Sure,
think,
that happens all the time.
yeah, but like
Yeah.
really tuning into like what you want to put out there and what expresses your own self and what, you know, might touch other people.
Yeah.
It's been like, people have told me, there's been a few times in recent years, people have told me something very specific about how, like, what I had talked about or written about was moving to them. And it actually was like fuel for me. I was like, wow, it actually matters. Like, I need to finish this song because I think this is a really, you know, a really good message, something important to express. And I sometimes I think of those people, like, if they heard it, you know, how would they feel, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think about the times that like even one phrase from a song will stick with me and make me, you know, uplift me or, like, you know, resonate with me in some way. And so we can't forget that, like, that is going to happen, hopefully, and that even if it's one person, it's enough, you know?
Yeah.
Hopefully it's more, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's been stuff I've been thinking about.
That kind of
lately.
reminds me, I don't think that did we hear one of your compositions?
No, yeah, you should play Unraveled. There's a video for that one. That's the title track from my.
Okay.
That one, I like to talk about the meaning behind that song
Sure.
because it's important. It was like about mental health, like journey, with depression and like and just figuring out, you know, how to get through that and go to therapy and like keep moving along, keep living your life. And the title Unraveled is like the dual meaning of unraveled, which means like coming apart, of course, falling apart, but also that you could unravel something to get to the core of it. So that's what it's called. But
Very nice. Okay.
Morning breaks me, I'm crushed before I breathe in. The sunlight just taunts me, it'll be over all too soon. Time slips through my fingers, I can't hold on, try to remember, but the feeling's gone. I'm empty, unraveled, asking in vain for something real, a memory, a sadness, something to show me how to feel alive. Shine a light so I can see. And when I get there, I'll be home. I'll be
Beautiful. Wow. Is this the group that's coming with you?
It's actually 3 different people. The bass, drums, and bass clarinet people are different now, but
Wow.
because they moved away. Some of them. and
That
well,
is really beautiful. Wow.
okay.
What a beautiful composition, and your singing was great, and your arranging beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah, boy. And is that from, I'm sorry, is that from a record? That was from,
it's from Unraveled. It's from the
and
title track.
is that a new record?
It came out in 2020.
Okay.
It came
Okay.
out 1 week into COVID, so my big debut was like, oh, yay!
Yeah,
Everything's
that
fine.
was an interesting time period for things like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? Just
Yeah. It's all right. I
we'll
mean,
never forget these 10 years, for various reasons.
right.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Really beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. Um, Hi, Graham. That was beautiful, wasn't it? Yeah, Graham Moses. He's listening.
Oh, thanks.
Um, here, sorry, Taylor, you're so funny. Taylor's questions. He's great. He actually did some interviews for North Texas, and he has very deep questions. Anyway, I don't know if you ever think about this, but in what ways do you work on balancing out being your own self-critic and relying on the music fully? Huh. Being your own self-critic and relying on the music fully.
And this is, I guess, I want to ask if it's when performing or when writing.
Okay, Taylor, are you listening? When writing or performing, is it different?
It is. I could give. I'll just give answers for both
Okay,
because it could be
okay.
concise. And when I feel much more comfortable performing than I do writing.
Yeah,
Like performing is like the most natural thing in the world. I love being on stage. I don't get nervous. I mean, well, I do sometimes, but when I start singing, I feel great. And most of the time, I can stay in the zone and just think about serving the music. Sometimes I do get in my head a little bit, but I think just like what I love about music is that it just keeps going, and there's you can't stop and evaluate. So I try to stay in that. But when I'm writing, I have not.
hold on one second. I just want to sit with that for a minute because
Hmm.
I heard that Eric Dolphy said something like that. Like, I forget what exactly it was, but it's something like it just goes, or something like exactly that. And I think that's what it's all about, actually.
Yeah.
You know. So anyway, I just love that idea.
I think it's part of why it's so healing to play music and also to listen to music, because
Yeah,
it's just you have to be fully in the moment, fully
Yeah.
present,
yeah,
and that's usually enjoyable. But when I'm writing, yeah, I've not been able to deal with that, and actually I went through a period of about 5 years. Yeah, it's after I finished that album, 4 or 5 years, where I didn't write at all. I couldn't write, and I would sit down to try to write would be so painful that I would just like, you know, start crying. This is very personal, sorry. But if it helps other people to know that, yeah, it was really bad. And I just like, I was very resistant to it. You know, Lyle was a great friend and mentor, but he is, you know, one of the best composers of the last like 50 years. So it's kind of hard being his niece and trying to call myself a composer of any sort. So even though I try not to have that hanging over me, it does, you know? So anyway, the good part of it is that I came back to writing, and last year I got a residency at McDowell. That's a artist residency in New Hampshire, a very prestigious one. Huge honor. I got to go there and spend a month living in a cabin with a grand piano and having like all meals provided and being in the midst of other artists. It was just like an absolute dream. And I spent like the month before I went there getting trying to like just get myself like mentally prepared, like in a good place. And a lot of that I do through like exercise and journaling. I do like the artist way, long form journaling every day. Yes, I've been doing that for like a year and 4 or 5 months now, like going strong.
Fantastic, isn't it? Changes your life.
It changed my life. It changed. I would tell everyone to do this, write 3 pages every day.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Do you do it first thing in the morning or?
Not usually. Yeah, that's actually what made me keep doing it, was to allow myself to like try to do it in the first part of the day. But if I don't, then if I get there at some point, you know.
Cool.
I write a lot in the subway, you know, since I'm on the subway a lot as a New Yorker.
Yeah.
But yeah, so amazingly, I was able to go there and start writing again. And I only got like 2. I got 2 like full songs and arrangements for my band. It just takes me forever, and then another arrangement for the band. But just getting in that practice of sitting there and like showing up to creativity every day was very new and very hard. But I got through it, and it was great. And then this summer, I've had a lot of time away from teaching and time to like get to it every day as well. And I'm still, you know, dealing with that self-critic, but I am showing up and doing the work, which is a big step for me. So
yeah, it's interesting, the self-critic thing. I mean, for me personally, what happens is if I can keep returning to the feeling of being in the creativity, you know, the magic space. Mm-hmm. If I can return to that and write in that, then it's great, and the critic is not there. And because what tends to happen with me is the critic comes in and says, "This is so simple."
Yeah, me too.
You know,
always.
like,
That's always.
oh God, it's not hip at all. It's just simple. And then, but at one point in my life, I actually stopped writing for 2 years because my mind was not allowing me to write a simple song. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, because of something somebody said about art, you know, it's just like this one comment, and I went, oh my God, I have actually stopped myself from writing because I think something's too simple. What do I care? Just write it. I could throw it away, or I could have somebody else sing it, or whatever.
You know? You don't have to record it, you know?
Yeah, just write it.
No one ever has to see it.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah. But so writing. I mean, of course, performing has its own things, right? You know, its own critics stuff. I don't know about you, but I mean, I'm older than you, so I've had more, you know, moments to deal with in performing. But at this one point, so I'm not a person who appreciates thinking about myself and analyzing it. You know, I mean, I love looking at the truth and taking responsibility for it, but I don't want to overanalyze myself, you know, thinking inward. I want to, you know, think outward. And I had a teacher, and the teacher said, stop. While we were, you know, in a lesson, he kept saying, stop analyzing yourself. And I'm like, I'm not analyzing myself. You know, I was very like, I'm not analyzing myself. And all of a sudden I realized I was analyzing myself in singing while I was singing, which really was like, you know, I had never wanted to do that. And and then, but you know, of course, once you realize what the problem is, it doesn't mean it goes away, right? You have to do the work. That's you know, so yeah. So but I'm much better now. Now I found the joy in practicing and in singing, and I've always believed in connecting with the musicians as a way to get outside of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
about the
But
connection with the musicians and the audience.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but the writing's interesting because it's singular. I mean, it's just you. So there is something that you have to position yourself in or let go of something. I was listening to Eckhart Tolle this morning, and I have to go back and listen to that one because he said something in it that was like totally opposite of what I've thought, which is kind of rare to hear that. I mean, usually it's just like a kind of an acknowledgement of what I think already. But this was like, oh, wow, wait a minute, let me, wow, that's true. Let me think about that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but I think writing is kind of like that. You have to really, you have to not place yourself like in a controlled way, but just in yeah, basically why I said Eckhart was because he talks about not thinking. Oh, I know what he said. He said, sorry for going on and on
No, that's okay.
about this. He said, he said, when you're out, like when you go swimming in a lake and all of a sudden you feel wonderful, right? And you think it's your surroundings. He said it's not your surroundings, it's because you stopped thinking. He said you can do that in the middle of the city too. And I just thought, wow, okay. I hadn't really thought about it that way.
Yeah.
I have to write that down and remember it because
Yeah.
it's such a good idea. Just stop thinking. So the thing that's and stop thinking. I think that for me is uh, what we're talking about for writing and performing. If you stop thinking. I mean, of course you're aware, but you're not thinking.
Yeah, I think writing's hard because you do have to think a bit, But yes, if you can, you have to kind of go
Focus.
in and out of thinking a lot and then not think. It's always a balance, right?
Yeah, I
So
think the word focus for me, like when I'm
focus. Yeah.
teaching,
Yeah.
I use focus more than thinking, but I mean
Mm,
it's a fine line, and words are kind of difficult to describe
sure.
that kind of
Yeah.
thing,
I know what you
especially
mean.
for singing, right?
Yes.
Oh man, people just don't get how hard singing is actually. It's like this instrument is really challenging.
Extremely challenging. Yes.
Yeah.
And just the varying degrees of natural ability with the instrument is really astounding.
Yeah, let's talk about singing for a minute.
Okay.
Um, Specifically like technique. And I mean, just was there a moment you said you were trained pretty early on. Was there a moment that you remember that you teach maybe that you hold dear and you teach your students some idea that really clicked and changed the way that you sang, made it easier?
Yeah, I don't. Again, that's a kind of similar. Like, there's so many different things. Like,
Yeah.
what's the one thing I would say? I will say that so even though I had a teacher in high school, she was really teaching me piano and then just encouraging me to sing at the same time. She didn't teach me voice, which I actually am very grateful for. So I didn't have like a real voice lesson until I was in college. But I grew up just singing constantly.
Yeah.
And I was very lucky that my family just let me, and I didn't know how lucky I was.
Yeah.
But well, my parents, my brother, like they just accepted that I was singing all the time, and I would just break out into song anytime I felt like it. And so my whole life, I've just felt so free with my voice. And by the time I got some technical information in college, it was good timing. It wasn't like messing with my development because I had already like developed my own voice so much and felt so good and free with it, that just getting that, like, you know, like I had this opera teacher, just opening up my voice and getting to sing higher, understanding my range better, and resonance was really big. And that's when I became more serious about like how to sing. But honestly, like I was always very obsessive about my sound. Like I started recording myself when I was in like 11. I like used my tape player and like recorded myself and analyzed it like very studiously, like every day for a few years.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that honestly, I think that all of that is like contributed so much to like my foundation and why I feel good singing. But like revelation, I don't know. Is there
Well, do you find
like,
that singing students show up with similar problems that you kind of hear yourself repeating direction for?
yeah, sorry, I lost track of your question. I'm sorry.
That's
I was trying to
okay.
think. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like most people I teach, like they didn't get to have that kind of freedom
Yeah.
growing up, you know, and have that kind of encouragement. So yeah, trying to think. I mean, that I did do all like the basic technical like work with them, like their like breath support and
Yeah.
valve formation and resonance. I do a lot of work with having them imitate other singers, to like the nth degree, you know, getting really inside their pronunciation, their vibrato speed, the dynamics, the emotion, like playfulness, you know, all of that. And have them sing along with the recording and then like analyze like how it could be even closer. And so they like discover themselves through, you know, singing other people's work. I find that's like a really good way to, because no one ever sounds derivative unless they only imitate one person all the time, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise there's no risk of that, I don't think. Almost no risk of that. It's just kind of like gaining more knowledge to have a deeper understanding of yourself,
Yeah.
I think. But yeah, I don't know, I don't know if I answered the question very well, but there's so much to answer.
I guess I'd have to take a lesson to hear what you teach.
Yeah, no, I teach a lot of freedom. I do. I've had teacher, like maybe 6 or 7 different voice teachers, and I don't feel like I need to subscribe to any specific technique. So I like to, probably you feel the same way, but I like to just like really take in what people have to give me and then apply what I can. And then sometimes they have taught me something that works for someone else that hadn't worked for me. So yeah, just the open-mindedness and the flexibility. I guess that's why I can't answer, because everything's so specific to me. Yeah,
Okay.
but freedom is a huge part of it, is
Yeah.
what I teach. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Taylor's talking about some books. Yeah, I think I read that book, Taylor. Failure is What It's All About: A Life Devoted to Leadership in the Arts by Steve Levine. He thinks that you and I would like that.
Oh, sure.
Failure is what it's all about. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll write it down.
Really a cool concept. Um, let's see. I'm going to adapt one of his questions. Do you sing standards too?
Yes.
Who do you like in the standards as far as composers? Do you find that
Oh,
you kind of go towards certain people?
yes. I really like Cole Porter. I like Frank Lesser, Rogers and Hart.
Rogers and Hart.
Yeah. Leo Robin, and I'm forgetting
Oh yeah,
Ralph Ranger. Yeah. Ralph
yeah,
Ranger.
yeah,
If I Should Lose You, and I forget what else. But yeah, I noticed I really like their work.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Some of my
So
favorites.
and so you sing standards and you do the scat. I'm sure you're scat.
I do scat, yes. Yeah, yeah,
Just
I
asking.
guess I improvised a little bit on that recording
You
that
did.
but
I heard
yeah,
that.
it's my own vibe. It's yeah, but when I sing standards, I scat more
Yeah,
traditionally.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, you know, that's how I came up singing standards, and I definitely do standards gigs. I just as like when I present myself as an artist with my band, it's less of that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everyone I know, there are people that have done it so well, and and I I have like a different kind of voice than a lot of traditional jazz singers, as you can
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
So that's been the thing, being such a high voiced singer,
Yeah, definitely.
and that's been hard. I will say, it's like I would just give anything to have that extra fourth down there to like let me have a normal vocal range. But I can sing really, really high, but that's not always useful. But yeah, it's forced me to be my own person, be
Yeah.
really unique, like tune into that unique part of me. And then sometimes people write for it and I get to do different things than I would otherwise. But yeah, it's interesting being a jazz soprano.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes it so when I sing standards, yeah, I can sing stylistically, like, in a way that
Yeah.
sounds like a jazz singer, but it's not what people expect to hear always.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Roland. I'm sure she likes the Bergmans.
Oh,
Because
yes,
how can you not? Their lyrics are perfect.
they are perfect. What are you doing the rest of your life is them, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Perfect lyrics.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Talk about getting into the magical space and, making a whole song in the magical space. I mean,
It's incredible.
just gorgeous. Yeah. You need to, if you haven't, there's a video I just came across in later years too. Aretha and Tony Bennett singing "How Do You Keep the Music Playing."
I haven't heard that.
It is perfection.
Oh my God.
It's so, both of them, it's like I said, it couldn't have been that long ago. I mean, they were, fully grown up,
Yeah.
and it was, I cried through it. I listened to it like 10 times in a row. It's just gorgeous. You got to hear that. It's gorgeous. Um, okay, Taylor has another good question.
Okay,
See,
great.
when Taylor comes, I don't even have to think.
Love it.
What are some key things you always look and listen for when working with a new rhythm section? I like that,
Ooh.
right?
Ooh. Look and listen for. I mean,
Like,
are you talking about like evaluating if I want to play with them, or like how do I
well,
like
when
fit
working
in?
with a new rhythm section, yeah. So I guess you're looking for certain characteristics that you want, need, desire, work.
So it's what I want in rhythm section, sort of.
Yeah, yeah, kind of like that. Yep.
Okay. Let's see. I like people that have a great time and groove. That is very important, not a given. Yeah. I like bass players who have like just really strong, definitive sound. Um, I like, I like it when they will solo. Sometimes if you're doing a gig with just a trio and the bass player doesn't want to ever solo, it's a little tough. That makes everything really short. So I like when people are just down to solo. I like drummers who don't play too much, or don't cover up. Like it's hard, as a singer, it's like it's so easy to cover up a voice. So yeah, a drummer that's more subtle. And then yeah, a piano player has to be a good partner, I think, in any situation, because piano players can do something that I can't do as a singer, which is like set up a tune and help end a tune, unless I've written exactly out what I want in my arrangement. I like when a pianist is willing to take over that role a little and like, yeah, do things that I would do if I could if I were a piano player, like leading the band. Yeah, and just also like open-mindedness again, I guess that's a theme that we've been saying, and yeah, flexibility, and then just like being really nice and kind, like that's huge for me. Like I just want to feel comfortable and supported, and so when people are like, just warm and kind, that's really helpful for me too. So,
There you go.
yeah.
Good answers. Okay, I'm looking for more music.
You could
Uh,
what would you like to hear? What would be
I
good?
don't know. I'm gonna look here. Let's see.
Oh, you know what would be fun to show people? The song I recorded a song called Karate, Egberto Gismonti,
Okay.
and that's a fun Brazilian tune that that is not meant to be sung. I don't think. It's a good example of the stuff we've been talking about.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's too much. Wait, I have to share this. I'm going to share it on my Facebook page and mention that you're coming. It's August 10th, right? To the
Yeah,
G
that's
Spot.
right. Yep.
Yeah. Oh my God. She's coming to LA to the G Spot August 10th. You got to be there. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Wow. That was absolutely incredible. How the hell did you do that? Oh my God. Did that take you a while?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely did.
Yeah.
But that's like the weird voice type, like applying it to jazz can be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unbelievable. Wow. I'm pretty blown away. That was really great.
Thank you.
Yeah, Shades of Tatiana. Yeah. Wow. Holy moly, that was great. Roland said, I hope she does that tune. I'm
Oh, I will.
guessing. Really?
Yeah, sure. I have a
Oh my
version with the
God.
whole band. Actually, it was when I recorded it, it was supposed to be the whole band, and then I was like, you know what? This would be cool to do with accordion. Vitor Gonçalves, he's the accordion
Yeah.
player on the recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I have a full band version too.
Oh my God. Okay, Roland, I'll see you there. Wow. That was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Uh, so interesting. Um, I keep let's see. What do I want to say? Um, I keep hearing people that are so committed, like yourself, so committed to the music, like we were talking about at the beginning, like the point of view, you know, that you carry and you act with. And I mean, I could go on and on about this. This is where my cup runneth over about stuff like this, about how it's I really feel like it changes the world, this kind of commitment. Because it's kind of like throwing a pebble into the water,
Yeah.
and you may not see all the ripples down in the other end of the lake, but you're creating these ripples. And it's not just about the music, it's about the feeling of commitment, right? The intention
I know
and
what you mean.
yeah, and I mean, that's what I think one of the huge values of creating music is, you know, um, to the world, because we are actually, and that's one thing I've grown to accept over the last few years of doing this interview show. I'm very impressed by how much music is being created on the planet all
Right.
over
It's
the
a
world.
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we are literally balancing out the planet. If there was no music, the planet would be a spinning dirt ball, you know?
I do agree. Yeah.
I-
Music is really important.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for, for many different levels, like what I was
Yeah.
just talking about, the commitment. It's funny, I was who said, oh yeah, my friend last night actually was talking about she's living in Virginia, and she has a few friends who are from the South, women, and she said they can smile and say something like, "You have a nice day," and she said the bigger the smile, the more dangerous they are. And when they say, "You have a nice day," they really mean "screw you."
Yeah.
And that the message does come across. It's like, and they can sound as sweet as possible, and they know they're doing it.
Yep.
And I mean, this is specific friends she has, but I was thinking about that, and I was just thinking about that and why the message comes across. Why does the person who she's saying that to go away with kind of a slimy feeling, when she's saying, "Y'all have a nice day,"
Right.
and it's not in the way she's actually, the intonation of her voice. It's not in that.
Yeah.
So it has to be the intention, right?
Yes.
And I thought, wow, you have to practice that a lot to get good at that. Having an intention behind this beautiful facade.
Right.
But in the same kind of a way, the music that we're doing with the commitment and the intention to put out this quality music and be in the present and move forward and bring along the musicians and everybody with you, it does change things, right? It
Yeah.
changes the world, it affects people, whether they
Right.
know it or not.
I think about how I've been changed by hearing people live and recordings. I mean, of course, musicians have felt like that, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
completely shaped my experience of life.
Yeah, absolutely. And another reason why it's really a good idea to go hear live music too,
Yeah,
right?
so important.
Because you do get that a little more dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's nothing like it.
yeah. And that's another reason why I like traveling too, because you get to experience things
Mm-hmm.
in different ways when you're out there in something you're not accustomed to, or
Yeah.
right, and
Mm-hmm.
you get affected, and the music gets affected, and just it's a different experience.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Can't wait. Can't wait to travel next month.
Yeah, and you've traveled internationally as well, right?
Yes. Yeah, actually, I've been to Japan. I got to go with Randy
Oh,
in
cool,
2022. Yeah, and we're going again in December, which I'm very excited about. Doing a little duo
cool.
tour. Yes. So
Are you
excited.
going throughout Japan or in one like around Tokyo or?
Throughout, yeah, we're doing, let's see, we're going to be in Tokyo and Kyoto and Nagoya and Okayama and I guess like, oh, Shizuoka. Yeah, that's where my violin player is from, actually. Shizuoka.
Oh,
It's a smaller
cool.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, Shizuoka.
Oh, there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, Shizuoka.
Oh, you said it pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you said all the other ones very, very well too.
Oh,
They were
thanks.
right on the tip of your head. Yeah. Oh, Ohio. So, as a matter of fact, Hiroki Hayashi just joined us. Ohio,
Oh,
Hiroki, how you doing? It's been a minute. Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah. Uh, and any place particular that you like
in Japan?
internationally?
Oh,
Internationally?
yeah. I mean, let's see. I've been to Taiwan several times,
Uh-huh.
to Taipei to teach at a workshop and to do performances. I think I'm also going to get to go back there too in December, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
I love Taipei, and let's see. I've been to the Czech Republic a lot because I met a pianist from the Czech Republic back in like 2013 or something, and he brought me over several times to do some tours, and I got to like go to all the small places, like drive in a van around Czech Republic, and I love
Yeah.
experiencing the world that way,
Yeah.
with people who live in the place that I'm going. That's a very lucky thing about being a musician and doing things that are like when you're not famous, you get to actually experience things in a really cool way. So I love that too. Let's see. And I've been to Colombia with the John Zorn vocal quartet that's mentioned,
Yeah.
which I love too. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite spots.
That's great. Well,
Oh,
let's
Portugal.
see.
I forgot Portugal. I love I've been to Portugal a million times. I love Portugal.
Portugal.
Hmm.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Hmm.
Really beautiful there. Um, Hiroki, yeah, you're in Sapporo. That's why I didn't see you in Japan, apparently. Um, but you didn't
I got
mention
to visit.
Sapporo. Are you going to
Yeah.
Sapporo?
No, I got to go there last time though. It was really cool.
Isn't it
But this,
beautiful?
yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But this time I no, I won't be in
Yeah.
Hokkaido at all. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really beautiful there. Um, let's see. And where are you going on your tour? Let's see if we can tell people. And maybe what I will do is, it's probably on your website, right?
It is, yeah.
Um, and is your website your name?
AubreyJohnsonMusic.com. But yeah, I can tell people about that.
Yeah. So, okay. And so, where are you going?
So we're starting in Seattle, playing at the Royal Room, and that's where my brother lives. So it's going to be really
Oh,
exciting. My parents are going to come to that show too. It's really fun. So we're going to
cool.
start there, do a rehearsal, and then have a show. And then the next day we're flying to LA, playing at the G Spot.
Yeah.
And then the next day we're flying to San Francisco, and we are playing at Portola Vineyards in Portola Valley. That was kind of the anchor gig of the tour that helped the whole thing come together. And then from there on, we're playing in various places in the Bay Area. We're going to play the Palo Alto Art Center, and we're doing a house concert in Healdsburg, California. And then we're doing the California Jazz Conservatory in Berkeley, and then the Soper Reese Theater, which is in Lakeport, California. It's like 3 hours north of the Bay. And then coming back and doing another workshop at the California Jazz Conservatory, and then going home. So it's going to
California
be
Jazz Conservatory.
intense. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That's cool. When are you doing that?
That's the 18th. The workshop is the 18th. 17th is Soper 16th is the concert at Jazz Conservatory. We're going backwards now. 15th is the Healdsburg House concert, and 14th is Palo Alto Arts Center. Everything else is the previous weekend. So, yeah,
Workshop. I'm writing it down.
nice.
Yeah, anything. I mean, that particularly, anything in LA, I can promote a little bit for you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, just that one show in LA for now, but hopefully we'll do some more. And
Yeah.
that's thanks to your connection that I'm playing there. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
well,
that very
you're
much.
you're gonna love it. It's very cool. It's wonderful. The guy, Alan, who owns the G Spot, he's an old friend of mine. He actually, when I was doing those like 14 gigs a week,
Yeah.
he was too. That's where I met
Oh,
him. And
cool. Wow.
then he's quite a character. And after that, he bought this company, smart guy, that was making I forget what it's called, but material to put around machines so that it would be fireproof.
Mm-hmm.
He bought this company and it did incredibly well.
Wow.
And he bought a house in the old days in this area, Mount Washington, which was, kind of a mixed bag area. It was old. And at that time, it was like buying fixer-uppers in that
Mm-hmm.
area. And then he just continued fixing up the place. He added this music room on. He bought instruments, and he's single, so he could spend his money on himself
Sure.
and his
Yeah.
house. And it's this really beautiful room. It holds like 60, 70 people, and there's a bar. There's this amazing, German grand piano, and he has a B3 and drums, and I mean, and
Nice.
and he's Alan. He's really a fun guy. He's really, he really has a good point of view, and
Awesome.
he's a musician, and
Mm-hmm.
so anyway, you're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be fun.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. um,
Well, I
yeah.
also wanted to mention that the tour, so I'm bringing my whole band, the whole
Yeah.
sextet from New
Yeah.
York, and it was made possible by a jazz road grant from South Arts organization.
That is
This
so
would be,
cool.
right? This would be completely impossible if not for that, like absolutely impossible. So I'm very grateful to them.
That is so cool. And I actually started looking at that last year. I had done this No Net project, and it's so cool, such a cool project. And I thought that would be great. I could do that with that. But I am so that's why I really feel for you about a little bit stressed for, the whole thing. I needed a tour manager. I don't know how to move a No Net. I
Yeah.
just you know, but I figured something else out that I'm trying to kind of pull together now. It's on my immediate to-do list for a grant, which is the guy who I did this project with, the No Net project. He's a bass player, a musical director, arranger, composer, engineer. He has a studio, and so I thought, okay, well, he and I actually could go on the road really easily. We could go to different places, schools and community orchestras, and actually have them rehearse and perform the music.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
That's a
and the
perfect
music's
idea.
very versatile. It's not. It's real. It reaches across age limits and stuff and genres. So yeah. So I'm going to work on that.
That's so
I think
cool.
that would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yes, absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that too.
Yeah.
You
You
can send
will.
me like 13 emails. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. Taylor is going to try and be at the California Jazz Conservatory.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
yeah.
Please come say hi, Taylor.
Yeah. And that's going to be a workshop, right? Not a performance. Or did you say you're performing too?
There's both. Yeah, the performance is on August 16th and the workshop is August 18th.
16th is the performance.
Yes.
August 18th is the workshop. Okay. And great. So, boy, It's been very pleasant speaking with you. Really had a good
Too.
time. I'm glad that we got a chance to talk before your concert,
Yeah,
And,
me too.
you know,
Me too.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking
Um,
forward to it. And thank you so much for doing this.
you're welcome. It was really fun.
That's,
Have a great evening.
you too.
And
Have a great
ladies and
afternoon.
gentlemen, to just for your information, next week I'm going to interview again Judy Niemak.
Oh, I love
Um,
Judy.
yeah, me too. So, by the way, you were 583.
That's amazing.
It is amazing, isn't it?
You're,
But
you're awesome.
anyway, I'm never sure whether I
Unsurpassable.
should tell people because it's like, oh, you mean it took 500 people to get to me?
No, no way.
But but thank you very much, and
Thank you.
it is archived too, so you can always go back to it or download it.
Awesome. Well,
Thank you so much.
thank you. We'll see you in LA.
Okay, bye everybody.